That's right. It's another late night and time for another reach into the Just Giggle It grab bag. And tonight we're pulling out. Oh boy, here's a lengthy one for you. Oh, okay, let me just reach really deep down in there. Ah, here we go. Oh wow, just another day in Muslim America. Just Giggle It sketch number 43. Wow, and oh my goodness, I recognize that beard anywhere. It's Sagar, Tiki. It's Sagar. Do you know what this means?
It means it's the penultimate episode of the Saga of Sagaar, Dragon. A wild beard has appeared. A wild beard has appeared.
Woo.
All right, so Dragon, please, for the love of God, get some context into this conversation.
So, folks, as you can probably kind of put together, we have reached the penultimate installment of our very special, very delayed theme month for one of the kind of the glue of the JGI players. Each JGI player kind of has like a role or a nickname or kind of a loving nickname given to them by us, and kind of our little ball of wax. We kind of do. If, at best weekly here when we kind of cover a sketch from the archives of JGI. The great Sagar Shake, and of course this one we've kind of laid them out in sort of kind of an evolutionary pattern. One could say maybe building towards something. I don't know, crazy as it may seem. You'll notice we've kind of seen Sagar kind of grow into the JGI player he kind of is today, as the way we've kind of laid out the remaining Sagar sketches we haven't gotten to. And of course, you see him just kind of as the fresh faced kid who was the roommate to Joshua Thomas, all the way down to the. To now just kind of the star that he is in this great satirical sketch.
Yeah, and he does a really good job here, and of course, the evolution of beard dragon. When we track Sagar, we have to track the beard, and here is the first appearance of it, dragon, my friend.
Yes, I'm so glad you brought that up, because that's exactly the point. Because we saw him in the infancy of the beard in the last installment during Crickets. Crickets again, he had this kind of with the goatee looking beard. Now he's got the
Yeah,
full on.
right. Like this is a beard dragon. I'm sorry, crickets. Like you said, crickets is more of like a goatee. It's like a beard under construction.
That's
This
facial
is a
hair.
full beard, man.
That's facial hair. This is a beard, man. This is a beard with
Yeah,
a
there's a
capital B.
distinction to make.
This is a bear about town, one might say. This is a bear with facial hair, but just we kind of class it up. So if you could wear a bear on your face, this would be it. The grizzly of the grizzly Adams, one may say, in the best of ways. I'm talking like a revenant bear you wear on your face, man.
Yeah.
Anywho, so beard stuff aside, seriously, folks, we are actually going to apply some thematicism to the beard here, because of course, one of the great things with Sagar is that there actually is a point to the beard. For many a time, pretty beard, Sagar in his acting career, he very much he was going to be typecast very much in kind of these very much the kind of the post 9/11 terrorist role for many a time, and he very definitively turned that down. You know what? I'm not going to be boxed into this corner. And of course, years go by, and ultimately he kind of grows the beard. And when he grows the beard, he kind of begins to break the mold. And of course, depending on what era you're really looking at it from, that beard can be the kiss of death for certain nationalities. And I think this sketch very much comments on that. Would you agree?
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. So, of course, the cell line for this one is: we all grow accustomed, being the operative pun, accustomed to what life gives us.
God.
For both Indian and Pakistanis, Mike and Rip, it's just another day. So that's kind of our really clever cell line. The sketch was directed, written, edited by Joshua Thomas. Who, little fun fact, by the way, big news for Joshua Thomas. I would have discovered this anyway, but I know you and I are kind of in the know on this one. Joshua Thomas made a TV debut today. He was on
Dragon,
the.
I need to check this out. I got myself the CBS All Access, mostly for Survivor, but this does give me access to this show as well. So why don't you pimp out this show the same way that we pimp out Harley Quinn and the Joker, my friend?
Sure. So, folks, I'm watching All Rise right now. Of course, basically, since Netflix unfortunately had the clean house of all the great Netflix shows, a lot of those players from those great shows they've had to find work elsewhere, And just so happens Simone Missick, who played Misty Knight on Luke Cage, and Wilson Bethel, who played Bullseye, the excellent villain on season 3 of Daredevil, they've kind of found themselves a little show called All Rise. Basically, Misty Knight, Simone Missick, she plays kind of a really cool judge, kind of commenting on the system. Basically, a judge who's not like all stuffy and all this, like kind of fire and brimstone, but a judge who actually cares about the law and about the people on the receiving end. And of course, Wilson Bethel is kind of the ardent, kind of DA, if you will, one of the ardent DAs that lawyers. Working, prosecutors. And what's really great, too, is that they're friends on the side. And, of course, they knew each other as lawyers. Now she's become a judge. It's a really fun show. So far, I'm digging the show. I am so far. And Joshua Thomas has a small role, but he gets to play with one of the big boys in the scene. And I won't say who, but you got to watch it to find out. It's about 2 scenes, but one of they're solid scenes. So you got to check it out, folks. Good show all around, but, of course, Joshua
So is
Thomas,
it one of those shows where it's like you really have to invest in the episode to get to Joshua Thomas's cameos? You have to earn those cameos.
Well, he's in one of he is kind of he's a part of the story. He helps in the grand scheme of things. I'll say that much. He's not like a huge part, but he's kind of like Kevin Smith always described it best in a procedural show where you'd have like the guy who leads you to the other guy, like not the suspect, but the guy who leads you to the suspect. That's kind of his role. Kind of helpful in that sense, I suppose. So I wanted to also shout this out before we get to the old Harley Quinn and the Joker. But of course, we definitely have some stuff to bring up there. Now we're in kind of a post proto world. We'll get to that in a hot second here, but keep things centered on old Sagaar boy. Sagaar. This basically, given the content of this sketch, it also kind of ties into one of the current things that Sagaar's been up to these days, which is Sagaar after JGI, or at least I believe. Sagaar did appear in one of the episodes of Harley Quinn and the Joker, episode 4, during the big party scene. And I want to say, I don't know if it was purely during that time or just kind of while he was doing other stuff, Sagaar has been part of another improv group. He was part of the another UCB improv group called the Get Brown.
Oh, really?
So the Get Brown is an all South Asian.
I sense a theme, Dragon.
Yeah, exactly. So the Get Brown is an all South Asian, basically it's all South Asian players at UCB. And I don't know if this is purely inspiration for basically him doing stuff like this eventually got him to a new podcast that he's been doing, which I believe you can find on SoundCloud. It's called The Bollywood Boys. And it's basically Sagaar and his co-host going over the Bollywood films they grew up on and basically kind of talking about the niche, the market that is, Bollywood, of course, in later years is kind of blown up and it's kind of everywhere. And it's kind of this fun thing a lot of people really love, and also kind of looking at the older stuff and saying, well, does it really hold up as well in some cases not so much. It's pretty neat.
Nice.
All right, so so speaking of Harley Quinn and the Joker, and of course you and I have both seen a certain movie that's come out recently.
Yeah, oh man, that movie, it's like Dragon, even after the political talk has died down, it's still a divisive movie, man. It's like not since Last Jedi have I seen people like kind of put battle lines in the sand over this one. Like you either love it or you think it's mediocre, Dragon. It's just like it's a harsh world out there, man. It's like I feel like Mad Max going into the dirges of the online fan criticism community after a post-apocalypse.
You mean some people think Joker is mediocre?
Mediocre, Dragon.
Well, I think it's just blatantly untrue. That's just my 2 cents on the matter. But yeah, seriously, folks, as great as even if you assuming you like Joker and that's a proto Joker story for the ages, in my opinion. That movie, it's a solid one for sure. But you know what? For the folks out there may not be fully into, why do I want to see an origin for the Joker? And folks, I discourage you from that mindset. I encourage you to check out the movie. But let's just play ball here, okay? You feel that way? Okay. I'm going to give you something to satiate your Joker thirst for the time being. You know what, folks? Look no further. Find it online. You're going to go to Just Giggle It. You're going to find Harley Quinn and the Joker versus the Real World. It's the show that gives you all that'll scratch that Joker itch for you, and it throws in Harley to boot. Where can it go wrong? And of course, you're thinking, I've seen all the Harley and Joker stuff. Well, not this one. You haven't. This is Harley and Joker in L.A. It's a completely new setting, hence the gimmick, hence the sell. It's not just like, oh, it's Joker and Harley in L.A. with all the street guys dressed up.
Yeah, it's not just like a couple cosplayers, vlogging and doing light pranks on people. It's a very scripted, formatted endeavor with production design and acting and plot twists.
And none of this clickbaity Joker, Elsa, and Spider-Man stuff you see on the
Oh God,
interwebs.
no.
None of that stuff. No, 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 folks. This show has a substance. It has content. It has all sorts of great stuff. Trust me, you'll be hooked by episode one, if not just by those little moments once you get past, like, okay, we're having some fun here, is watching the Joker essentially be the Joker, again, wonderfully portrayed by Joshua Thomas. You're gonna get hooked by the internal universe of the show all the way in episode one. You're gonna be hooked like an addict by the end of episode one. You're gonna have to watch episode 2 and 3 and 4. You're gonna get to 5. You're gonna have a serious problem. You're gonna need to check into a clinic because you're gonna be bouncing off the walls, realizing, oh God, I have a problem. The episode, it ends at 5, but it's not over. I need more episodes, man. Well, good news. Episode 6, it's in the can. It's waiting to be released. For all we know, it could be released this month. But folks, the only sure way to get it, the only sure way, it's in a shelf. It's on the shelf in the film canister, in the age-old kind of prince-like vault of Joshua Thomas, the Joshua Thomas Prince vault, subterranean in its nature. You will find episode 6 on a shelf, ready, waiting, fully edited, and just waiting to be released. But you know what's waiting for, folks? The only reason you're bouncing off the walls and racking up charges in the Betty Ford clinic right now because you're being so obsessed with this show, as you should be. Only reason you are is because it's not up to 1 million views yet. It's getting, since the Joker movie has come out, the views are racking up. It's already halfway there. It's more than halfway there. It's almost at 600, 600,000. Man, we just need to get it to 1 million. It could be tomorrow when it's released. If it gets to 1 million, who knows? So, folks,
Wow.
just get the word out. Spread it around. Watch the episodes while you're waiting. Watch them again. Send it around, but especially watch episode 5. Get the word spread on episode 5, and you'll get episode 6, which will lead to 7, which will blow your socks off, and then you'll see a scene mirroring the Joker movie, let's say, of in kind of a kind of a celebratory nature. I'll say that much. Basically, like that scene, but hopefully a lot more positive and fueled by the creative fire versus real fire. That's all I'll say. Anywho,
All right. So on that note, Dragon, let's get into something a little bit more lighthearted than the Joker, which is an airport security screening.
yes. Well, again, just to play ball here. So I love how I think this is just so beautifully constructed in terms of. I gotta tell you, I think this is one of the best produced mini sketches, if you will, of the JGI
Like the
works here.
ones that are like really quick, like less than 2 minute ones.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the Madman sketch, and the way, like, I love how the Madman parody is laid out. I think this is perfectly framed. I really do, because I love how we start on this all white set. We have these two friends seemingly like they kind of pulling like a Jay and Silent Bob, like leaning on the wall and just kind of chit chatting. It would seem. We have
Uh-huh.
Mike, who I believe is a new player. At the very least, is a player we don't see that often on JGI. Amit Shah playing Mike, and Rip, of course, played by Sagar.
And Sagar, like we said, folks, the last time we saw him, he had respectable facial hair, a nice goatee coming along. This time, Dragon, how do we see him?
He's got a beard.
Full man beard.
Man beard. Away. No, but seriously, he's got a beard, and of course, with a great beard comes great responsibility. I believe Gandhi said that. Anywho, no, sorry, just ridiculous Shazam reference. Anyway, moving on. Point being, so we have our two friends chit chatting here. Rip is asking, what's up with, basically making kind of casual chit chat here, like, what's up with Sasha? She was acting weird at the party, man. Yeah, I just wanted to tell her to be normal and stop playing games. And Mike saying like, "Oh yeah, you should have said that." You know, this is she would have started freaking out like, "Oh well, live and learn, right?" It's being all buddy buddy. And of course, this is where the conversation is really mundane, really gets to my liking here. Like one of them sniffles. It's like a Seinfeldian conversation. You're like, he's sniffling here, and Mike thinks he's getting a cold. No, no, no. It's just the wait. You're sniffling. You're not getting a cold, are you? I'm just feeling. I'm just feeling like something's coming on. You know that feeling, right? We all know that feeling, right? When you feel like, do I? It's like the paranoid. Am I going to get sick?
Right.
Is it just a sniffle? Is there something more there? What's going on? Is it pollen? I have no idea. Well, I do have some emergency. It's apparently some sort of named like kind of over the counter thing, I guess. emergency. So he says, "Oh yeah, you should take it." And of course, he's really relieved because, "Oh yeah, good. I have soccer practice all next week." Which is basically getting to the mundanities. The conversation. You want to jump in here by any means, Tiki, if you
Yeah,
will.
yeah, yeah. Basically, I'm sorry, you're doing a good job selling the mundanities, but the mundanities dragon. There's a reason why we're going through things that are so mundane. This conversation. I think maybe the joke of it is that as it goes on, it just gets more and more and more mundane. And of course, we're wondering, like, well, just another life of an American Muslim. Like, what's going to be the joke here?
And we get into like it's like 200 a month. Just like the Monday, as the Monday just kind of hikes up and hikes up here. Like yeah, all year round, just you playing soccer, it gets really pricey. 200 a month. Oh my God, tell me about it, man. Then we have the ultimate reveal.
Comes Mr. Mark Sipka as the obviously not racist cop.
So just that casual setup and the familiarity.
I love the way that Sipka plays this, man. He's just like so cocksure. Like Sipka is probably in his own mind thinking that, like, yeah, that's right. I'm being a goddamn professional, just doing my civic duty, and these Muslims should thank me for it. But
This is
then in reality, we see that it is a pretty fucking invasive act, and of course, that does kind of put the just another day in the life of up to a microscope, and kind of the sketch kind of makes a little bit of a political statement there right at the end.
it's just to break it out because there's a lot of really great stuff. It's just such a perfect reveal. Again, we pull back and Sipka just comes out there, and it's with the judiciously. And this one time with the framing, I'm just obsessed with the framing here. It's the judiciously placed table, so it's blocking any obscene things, and basically it kind of like frames the horror of the cavity check of like you're gonna be stopped and you have to drop trow and there's gonna be the excessive search and it's a nightmare for anyone who's gone through that. And of course, I imagine, especially post 9/11, anyone sporting a sweet beard like that, it ain't gonna be Christmas.
Oh man.
I hate to tell you, they're not looking for Christmas presents.
It's gonna be a Mr. Robot Christmas.
Pretty much. That's the thing. It's all. Yeah, it's all. I'm sorry, I've seen that now, so I know exactly what you're talking about. Anyway, so I know we have just folksy Sipka here. It's like, what if you took like a uh, oh God, I'm blanking on the I feel stupid. Deliverance, a little dash of deliverance in the performance here. A little bit of like, all done. Sorry about the random check. Here you Here you go. Have a nice flight now. He's just so polite. He's so. I just
Have a
love
nice
how
flight now.
polite and
I think
complimentary
he
he is. And
repeats the "Have a nice flight, thank you." He repeats the pleasantries like 2 or 3 times just to drive it into the ground how much of a nice guy he is.
But that's the thing. We get this pleasant demeanor and everything. The reason this sketch works is because this is where you get like the sad. There's a sad kind of inner spine to the piece here, where it's the fact that the sad truth is that they've all made peace with the status quo. So it's just another day. And the fact that, well, yeah, they can't stop. It's just they're accepting it, which is kind of tragic. But by the same time, it's just so funny how mundane this humiliating thing is. Where it's unfair for sure, but it's kind of a pleasant interaction. Well, yeah, you're gonna be stopped. Just here you take. So basically, we're making this demeaning and kind of like the best it could possibly be. Essentially, like, oh, thanks. Hey, you're welcome. They pull their pants up and
right.
pull their pants up and
Yeah, you're welcome.
and I
Not a
love how
problem. Not a problem, sir.
I don't know if Sagar improvised this on the day or not, but I'd imagine they probably did another take of this and he probably did this. I don't know. I'm speculating here, but I love how Sagar made the choice to waddle off with his pants down. Not even pulling out, he's making his way as well. Because again, it doesn't even bother him because it happens every time. It's like just waddling off, and Just Another Day plays. Just another day. Da, 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 da. And this is what cracks me. Sipka is a genius here. I love the thing Sipka did this on his own as well. Sipka is he's waving, just as they have made their way off screen, he's waving, gives a thumbs up. And then he's removed his glove at this point. He does like kind of like the sniffle himself, where he basically is like, it's just, of course, with the same hand, which is just, God. It's so not right, but it's so funny. It's all all of this within a few minutes, but it's just
No, not
perfectly
even within a
executed.
few minutes, within literally like a minute and a half,
It's
like a
not even
minute
two
and a half
minutes.
and like seven change.
Good God, yeah, it's quite brilliant. It is.
And like I said, Dragon, the most impressive part of it to me is how it goes from like just a very mundane day in the life sort of thing right into just sharp political commentary that still has the mundane humor of the day in the life aspect on top of it. So it's almost kind of like a sandwich of different types of humor.
Absolutely.
All right,
Well, I guess final thoughts for me then.
go ahead.
I think this is a very clever satire. It's one of the great JGI satires for sure. Just again, it's quick, but it hits every beat like perfectly. It's like it's like, I guess to use the earlier plug from it's like what if Bullseye were just like pinning a comedy sketch to a board? That's kind of like the perfection of which this is just kind of like it's just kind of hitting its marks here. It's a very clever satire on kind of the security paranoia post 9/11. It's being smart, acknowledging yeah, this is kind of our status quo now, but we have some of our regular players who probably have dealt with this, so why not poke fun at it? Poke being kind of the operative word. It's kind of perfect comedy framing. The drive is kind of the unsuspecting setup of, again, you're thinking it's kind of a casual chit chat, and which is going to maybe make a commentary on things. But yeah, we're making a commentary. It's a little bit more of a visual commentary. It's kind of what we're getting at here with Saga, and I think Saga and Mitt have really good chemistry. Again, I know we haven't seen these guys play off each other that often. I think this might be Amit's. I want to say it might be Amit's one and only, unless Amit's just kind of appeared in smaller roles in the earlier stuff we haven't gotten to yet. I think we bring it all home with Sipka and his pleasant demeanor. It's just an example of JGI firing all cylinders, even with a very very short runtime. This is what sketch comedy should be. It's like you could have this almost as a commercial, like within the SNL commercials, and it would just play flawlessly. It's that sort of sketch, man. It's very good. And of course, we mentioned Sagar many times. The glue in this case, he's the lubricant and how it works. Again, like Sipka's kind of the driving pointer, if you
Good
will.
choice of words, Dragon. Good choice of
And
words.
Sagar, again, like without Sagar there, that sketch, well, to put it delicately, that sketch isn't going to go as smoothly without the lubricant that is Sagar.
Oh God! All right, all right.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. This sketch for me, I found it very enjoyable. I agree with Dragon that it's probably one of the most well produced and well realized of all the let's say the under 2 minute crowd of JGI sketches. I think they continue to do a better job of utilizing Sagar and what makes him stand out. I think Sagar is feeling more comfortable in its own skin. And hey, look, a wild Sipka appears. So we get a nice roll from a former grab bag favorite that we haven't seen much from in a while. So yeah, sketch all around very very fun.
All right, next time, folks, we're actually going to devote a whole sketch into talking about Sagar's beard, literally. So
Yep,
look forward to
yep.
that.
Just beard
I mean, if
talk.
you thought we've
Nothing
talked
but
about
beard talk.
if we've talked about mustaches in the past, folks, you're going to see a new record as we talk about facial hair for a very long period of time, and we're not joking. That
I
doesn't.
mean, we might actually have to make a stretch goal to see just how long we can stretch out this particular conversation.
We'll see. We'll see. All right, that does it. That does it for now. Until the next exciting reach into the Just Giggle It grab bag.
Have a good day, folks. Have a good day. Thank you.